welcome back. My name is Elissa Kalver. I'm the founder of WeGotThis.org, and I live with stage 4 breast cancer. I am here on my birthday, and all I wanted to do for my birthday was spend the day having chats about some crazy times, crazy ideas that I've had with friends and what ideas they've had that most I've never heard of. So it's really fun to get to sit down and do this. Thank you for joining us. I have my good friend, an amazing just life partner, friend, person, like confidant, Taylor Coffman here. I'm so excited. How are you?
I'm excited for your birthday. I mean, birthdays do mean more when you have these illnesses.
Yeah, when you're like more likely to die.
I know. I used to like hate birthdays, and now I'm like, and anytime anybody says they don't like their birthday, I'm like, don't you say it. They're so important.
Yes.
They're so valuable.
Yeah.
So anyways, I love a birthday now.
Aw, thanks.
Almost dying made me love a birthday.
I love that, and we're gonna get into that. Don't think we're not gonna escape past the almost dying thing. But yeah, I mean, I woke up today. It's been a long week. We had my book launch yesterday. Monday night we did that awesome party at the Magic Castle.
By the way. Go to anytime Elissa says you should go to her party, you just say yes and you go.
You probably should go. It is really fun. But with the week being so busy, this did feel like maybe a little extra. But I woke up this morning, I was so tired, and I thought to myself, like, wow, if I didn't have this planned, I think I would have slept through most of my birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can relate to that. Like, you know, gonna hang out with friends tonight and all that, but like, I would have probably ended up just laying down and like chilling, and which is fine. And there's times for that.
Right.
But like, I'm having so much fun, like living every minute of it, having these fun, crazy conversations.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it might, and this is just my impression, like a little bit extra is your brand.
Yeah.
So the fact that like for your birthday you're basically doing a TV show is so you.
I keep things on brand. I'm pretty consistent.
I love that so much. Now we're here between two ferns.
You know, everyone has pretty much referenced that, which I love. I love. So yeah, and what I've actually said in the other conversations, interviews, whatever you might call it, is I hadn't fully thought out this idea. This is very like improvised, and I love the way it's going. But I thought about it of like other podcasts I've been on, and when they say my intro and it's great, and I was like, I want to know what the guest would say as their intro. Sure. So I want to hear like Taylor Coffman's intro of yourself. Tell the people what they should know.
So I guess I'm first and foremost a a performer, but also I have a rare disease. I am a mom, and those two things kind of also made me into an advocate. And I'm a writer, and I just I feel like I had this whole rare disease thing start when I gave birth to my daughter. And so, you know, most of my life was pretty, I would say like very Honda Civic, like very just had a job and like living life in just kind of a very normal fashion. And then this wild thing happened to me. And the sort of Cliff Notes version, I was like in an ICU for like almost a month after having her, and then on dialysis for like 9 months, and then I'm a miracle of science. The fact that I walk around and look as normal as I do, frankly, is a miracle. And and then after that, you know, I just felt like my life took on a new mission, and so now I work a lot to write to empower patients and empower us to get the best possible care, but also awareness for it's going to wash over you like salad dressings, atypical hemolytic uremic syndrome, or complement-mediated thrombotic microangiopathy. So I have that. But essentially, I think just anyone with a rare illness too, because frankly, rare illness, even though each individual illness is pretty minute in the amount of population that have it, the all of the rare disease population is actually a lot of people. So, you know, advocating for that is important too. So, I just feel like I got to come back to life and have a new mission. And so I'm just living that mission.
I love it. And I'm glad that you felt driven to do that, because I think it is so important. And I've been fortunate to learn a lot more, about all those details, because we've been working on our own podcast idea called Dying to Live. And we're pretty close. I mean, we have a few episodes going.
Yes.
What I find so fun about the way we're working together is we both have like crazy unpredictable,
It's true.
lives
Yes.
and energy levels
Yes.
and all these things.
Yes.
And so we've recorded at my house, we've recorded at your house, we've recorded at chemo, at my infusions a couple of times. Taylor, you get your infusions at your home. It's like, we really dive into just adjusting to where life is. And I mean, that is, I think, what I'm all about. And I think you are too, is like, we don't have to stop doing these things.
No.
Let's just find the ways to work them in and, make them a part of our life. And
it's good not to be too precious. Like, just, I think, and you're good at reminding me to just like make it happen. Like, just make it happen and we'll figure it out, and I think that's like a good lesson. And like, we connected obviously because, both of our disease onsets happened when we had kids or a kid. And that's like, you're already like redefining life as a parent. And then all of a sudden you're also like hit with a major, let's face it, dangerous illness. That's like, not a lot of people have that combination of things. So I definitely feel so grateful to know you, because I feel like even though, you have cancer and I have, this very hard to say thing, but there's a lot in common there. And I think I feel like my world, even though it got harder, my heart grew bigger. And I feel like so many more people are in my community that it feels so special.
Totally. And I love that our mutual friend thought to connect us.
I know.
Because it's very natural for people to be like, oh, you have breast cancer, I'm going to connect you to someone I know with breast cancer.
Right.
And that can be great. But a lot of times it's very different, like, within that community, that, you not having breast cancer at all, we actually have a lot more in common than sometimes I feel with other breast cancer survivors or thrivers or patients, just because of the scenario.
Right. And there's no cure for my disease, so that's where we kind of fall into similar funnels, and the fact that we'll just have this and we'll just see how it goes. Yeah. And hopefully, I'm always an eternal optimist and hope that science is moving so fast. And I'm just so hopeful that, in the next 5, 10, 15 years, who knows what will happen. So I'm just staying optimistic.
Totally.
And,
I think that's something I love bringing up a lot when people get nervous to get things checked out or that. It's like a lot of things that might sound really scary and can be, they might be different than what you remember them as.
That's right.
People who are dying of certain diseases or cancers 5, 10 years ago aren't necessarily now.
Right.
Or us living long enough for things to catch up or have more treatments. That's where it makes such a big difference. But I love it because you kind of have, some of those crossovers, but then things that are absolutely totally different. And hearing, some of the things that you've persevered through and experienced and done is and I really had fun listening back to the episode you just sent me the edit on, because, I don't know how long ago it was that we recorded that. And I'm listening back to, us talking about your original telling of your story and some of these things. And also I like in each of our episodes, because it's over time, we've gone through different scenarios.
Right.
You've been in the hospital since then. I've had recurrences since doing this.
I know, it's crazy.
It creates, I think we're so similar in our outlook, but I also feel like I get more perspective every time I get to hear more about things that are different. And it's wow, I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
And in a way that we can do it that relates, not being oh, someone has it worse, or oh, I shouldn't complain about, because when people say oh, I shouldn't complain because of what you're going through, it's everything is relative, I'm
you can complain.
Yeah, there are many things that
stuff sucks.
Yeah.
But also stuff is great too, so it's the balance. But yeah, I sort of always joke, my family jokes that no one's had it worse than Taylor. Basically she can trump any story in our family. So, someone will give a little story and I'll
most
be
families,
oh, yeah.
for sure.
I know.
Yeah.
But the other odd thing is if you and I walked down the street, nobody would guess that at all.
Yeah,
I think and that's the sort of miracle of science about it. You know, it's amazing how, I don't know, the outcomes that we can have right now, and I feel incredibly lucky.
I agree.
Because I mean, I feel like if you haven't heard my complete story, I will say that like I was, you know, near death, like
you've probably experienced that.
I did. I have like ICU called no brain reflex on my chart. Like my brain has been down.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've had heart failure, lung failure, kidney failure. Like I've had hypoxia, sepsis, pneumonia, you know, blood clots in my heart, lungs, all over my kidneys, all over my pelvis. I've had uremia where your toxins poison your brain and you can't like you lose the narrative. Like I've had that. Like it's like insane the amount of
It's
stuff.
crazy.
And now I'm just here between these two
Crazy.
friends, you know, so.
Yeah, I'm just here between two friends. Well, and what I like about that of like people walking the street might not, I mean, they wouldn't know. They would
not know.
You know, it's hard for me to even like recall all the things every time we get like a quick refresher on the stuff. But what I love about that is that sometimes it is the case that like people are just going through it you don't realize. And like there are days that are really hard and all that. But there are also times, I think, for both of us, and I can't speak for you, but you can tell me what you think, is like where we are just us. Like there are days where like, you know, me today here, I could have been, I'm pretty fatigued. I get very fatigued from my current chemo, and I can't fight through that every day, right?
Yeah.
But there are times when I like can schedule something like this that like keeps me up through it.
Yeah.
And I truly am just me, like who I was, you know, then too. And so I think that like knowing that that can exist is really amazing.
Yeah, I think, look, we go through these experiences and I think we become. I mean, I was cool before, right? But like, I'm so much cooler now. I mean, you know, like I don't know how to put that any other way.
Yeah, like badass is like a whole different definition when you're talking to Taylor. It's like there are things you didn't even know that you would even overcome.
Yeah. I think. I would say that I had the akin, like if it was a roller coaster, I had the blast coaster version of illness, where like I went from being like very healthy, my pregnancy flagged nothing, like just like I'm like basically almost dead. So like that, and a lot of people have illness that I think is progressively worse. So they're sort of in that like fearing that. Yeah. Whereas I had like almost like strangely a huge amount of healing from that. So I feel like I've already kind of tasted what feels like the worst. And so now I like know like what that is. And knowing that makes it, I don't know how else to say it, less scary. Yeah. You know, like I talked to even the other day, someone online was very scared that they have a lung issue, and I've had hypoxia, which is essentially like your lungs failing and filling with fluid and your brain not getting oxygen. And I was like, honestly, I was just kind of out of it, you know, like she was like, oh, this feels like so scary to die from. And I was like, yes, but also I almost died from that. And weirdly enough, I think our bodies like in some strange way know what to do to help us. So I was never, even in all those experiences where I almost died, I was weirdly, and I don't know how else to explain it, like not scared.
I can totally understand that because when I had my brain tumors in particular, finding that out was like, I just only knew when cancer spread to your brain, you die. Yes. So that's what I assumed was going to happen. And when I look back at that, it's like, well, actually, the radiation on my brain and some of those things were not the hardest thing I've gone through. And not the scariest. It was kind of maybe the preconception to that. But then having like the right care team and people to like explain through it. And that can all be different. So like tumors in your brain from metastatic breast cancer is different from other types of cancer and other things. So I can't speak to everything, but it's kind of like you experience some stuff that sound like the worst thing to ever happen. Right. But like when you explained when you were in the hospital not that long ago and you had to have that tube thing.
Oh, the NG tube.
That sounded like the worst thing to ever happen.
Terrible. Terrible. I was like, none of the times I almost died felt that scary.
Yeah, and this is like she had to have
miserable.
a tube, well awake, and yeah, there's definitely different things that it doesn't have to be life threatening to be the worst.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I say a lot, like, I'm not so much afraid of dying as I am afraid of not being able to live.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or just like feeling like I feel like we're akin in this way where we just have work to do.
Yeah.
And we want to do it.
Yeah, we're not done. So I don't think we're going anywhere right now. I'm not going.
I'm not going.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole time in the hospital, I'm pretty sure I was talking to the universe plenty. And there's plenty of times where I was like, I just had a kid. I'm not going to be going going right now.
No.
Like, this is where I'm going to be.
It's just not the time. It's just not the time. Yeah.
And
not
believe me,
today.
the universe tried to murder me. But I, I was like, no. And so when you talk about this theme of like crazy things, I feel like sometimes for me, like the crazy things happened to me. Not always were they like my idea.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'd love to dive into what idea you came with. Again, if you haven't been watching and following along on these, it was basically a last minute text message to friends being like, on my birthday, I want to record for 5 to 6 hours at my friend's studio. We're going to have it all set up. And I want you to come with a crazy idea that you've had. And I want to hear what that is, and then we can kind of know where to dive in.
Well, you know what's interesting? Because I feel like, I've been through, I mean, I also feel like when you live in LA, like crazy things kind of happen to you.
Totally.
I've had like naked women jump on my car. One time I was last minute like cast as Britney Spears, and they asked me to like do it in my underwear. And I was like, I'll do it for a principal rate, which is a good amount of money. And they gave it to me, and I was like, yeah, okay.
All right.
And that was for like late night television. So like I was definitely on network.
What show?
I worked for a while for Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay.
And so I was once Britney Spears on Jimmy Kimmel.
We're going to have to look up the archives on that.
Don't. It's so silly. It is so silly. But I once was danced as an alien with the flaming lips. So I've like done plenty of like what I would think are like.
You've lived, yeah.
I've
That's some cool stuff.
But sometimes the times I think that people look at me like I'm crazy and I don't think I'm crazy usually involve like me asking my friends to like do something in nature.
Okay.
which or like something like I remember the time I told Zach that we would be like walking to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Because I booked.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, and I booked like there's this little ranch at the bottom, like no frills, like at the bottom, and I like booked a room because you have to win a lottery to do it. So I was like, we'll be walking to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and then I only was able to book one night, so we have to walk out the next day.
Oh my goodness!
And like then I think this was only like the first year we were married, and I'm sure he was like, oh, this is how it's gonna go.
Yeah. I love when you said nature first. I'm like what? Are we going to hike Runyon or?
Yeah. Well, even just last weekend, I went camping in this place that there was like absolutely no cell signal. In fact, one of my friends was like, I have not felt this degree of anxiety about being in nature because we were so far from anywhere, like over an hour to like a hospital if something happened. Which I was always like,
and you're like,
no one do anything. I know, but I'm like, hey, if this is my time, it's my time.
Doesn't kill me yet. Yeah.
But there was like this cliff that I was like, oh, let's like walk up to the top of that at sunset and like take pictures. And at first, like pretty much everyone was like down to come with me, and then we start going up, and just like a few of my friends were like looking at it, and we're like, I'm
good.
What are you? I'm like, one of my friends was like, I'm not afraid about going up. I'm afraid about coming back down.
Yeah.
But, and there have been many times where I've like, I'm a big fan of Yosemite where I'll be like, everyone, let's go on this hike. And then they'll all be like wishing that they had changed their minds somewhere along the way, but they'd like already said they were going to do it. But here's the thing. I'm also like, one could say that I'm crazy, but I'm truly, truly not.
Yeah.
Like I'm really actually quite the Girl Scout.
Yeah.
So I'm good at preparing. I'm like good at like helping people get through challenging things. Like this all goes back, I'm sure, to like my life mission. But pretty much all these times, these people have followed me to the top of the mountain or the bottom of the canyon, and then they'll go like, "Oh, this was so great."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "See."
I think that's a good, actually, example of the fact that like a lot of things seem crazy just because it's unknown.
Yeah. Or physically scary.
Yes.
Also.
But like, if you did the lottery system for walking to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, like you did some amount of research to figure out how to make that happen, what it entails. That people have done it before.
I mean, did I get like heat exhaustion almost at the bottom because it was like 110 degrees? And I had run out of water? Yeah. Yes. But I knew the Colorado River was right there. So I just had to get to that. And I sat in the river.
And then the real question, but did you die?
No.
It's so funny because that expression, I think, takes on a whole new meaning in what we discussed.
Because I could say yes to that maybe.
Yeah.
a couple times.
Yeah, a couple times.
But I do think the other, because I gut check asked my husband, because I was like, what would you answer? And his answer was like writing a book during dialysis. And I was like, is that, but see that I'm not sure, because your question was like a crazy thing that you did that turned out to be great. And I don't know if it's going to turn out to be great yet.
Okay,
I'm in the mix.
I'll preface that with it doesn't have to turn out to be great, but something that like, so that actually doesn't feel like a crazy idea for you, like of me understanding. And this, so the nonprofit, so we got this, so, like kind of similar concept that I started in the middle of my initial chemo.
Right.
And we were on a board meeting one time for the nonprofit, and someone joked about something crazy idea that I was doing, and someone was like, who here hasn't had a crazy idea from Elissa? Or like, who else has had a crazy idea from Elissa? And everyone raised their hand except my stepdad, Les. And I said, Les, you're not raising your hand, but like you're one of the first people I told about this idea. And he looked up like dead serious, and we're all on Zoom, and he's like, well, yeah, but this idea was never crazy.
Right.
And that like really shifted my perspective on that, because it's like a lot of people saw it as crazy.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Take care of yourself. Why are you writing a book during dialysis? Why are you starting a nonprofit during chemo? But it's like the people who know me best, like my parents and Eric, they're like, oh, yeah, of course, you have to do that,
Yeah.
And I think you writing a book is like, now that I know you, I mean, that's perfectly on brand.
And I'm currently living like vicariously through you. I hope you realize this, like, because you wrote this. I'm like, I feel like it was a Monday night in the car. I just like smelled the book, and I was like, oh, this is what dreams come true smells like. Like that's what this smells like. And my Zach is like, oh my gosh. And of course, I'm already reading your dedication to Ellie, and I'm like already crying.
Yeah. And I will say, because a lot of people messaged me that the book in general, I don't think is a tearjerker in a lot of scenarios. I think it's just a lot of pieces of us expressing our stories in the way that we find, and you've said that a lot with the book stuff and that, where I think we're a fun balance, like working on our podcast project together, is that like you definitely, like you're way more professional of a writer than me. You're much more professional of understanding sound and podcasting and all this stuff, and maybe my like secret weapon is that I'm not.
Well, I'm a recovering perfectionist fully.
Yeah.
And I still have to like keep that in check. So it is a good balance, because it's like, stop being so precious and just like do it.
Well, and you've been doing a lot of these things before, the onset of your rare disease, whereas a lot of this stuff I wasn't doing before.
Yeah.
So there are other things in my life that I would definitely be a perfectionist about, but this is like, what do I have to lose?
That's right.
And so I think the only difference between my book, being tangible right now and yours is I think you're on this really exciting journey with like your book agent and finding, where you want that to live. And it's funny because you wrote your book and then you're finding like this home and family for it.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. So I met, my book is with a publisher called Amplify Publishing, and I met Naren, who's the founder of it.
I saw it's in Herndon, Virginia. which I was like, I'm from near there.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to just talk to Naren, we could
Shout
also
out
make
to
that
Virginia.
up. Yeah. But I met Naren at a public speaking conference I was at. And it was one of those things that everyone actually told me when I was first getting diagnosed, like, you're going to write a book. And I'm like, I'm not going to write a book. I mean, it's just not a form of content I ever was really that interested in, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, and I kept running into Naren, like when I'd go to the bathroom or I'd go somewhere. And eventually he was like, hey, so tell me about you. We keep running into each other. And so I started talking and explaining about We Got This. And this is very beginning of me just kind of like realizing I should get more into public speaking, and I really enjoy it.
Of course.
And he told me about how he had actually lost his mom to cancer like the month before. And we just like really connected. And he was like, I'd love to just learn more about it. Like, let's set up a Zoom or something after this, and I want to learn more about your nonprofit. And so I was talking to him and all that. And I was like, okay, well, while we're on the phone, like, what would it look like for me to write a book? Like, what are my options? Like, what kind of support could I have? And like, what does that look like? And it's the thing I just told him because he called me yesterday on our publishing day. And I was like, you told me on that first call that if I wanted to, like, from whenever we pull the trigger, I can have a book out within a year.
Wow.
And that was what sold me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things right now where it's not like something that I really enjoyed writing the book, and I enjoy everything about what we're doing with it, but like I didn't know that yet.
Yes.
So like getting into it, it was like, knowing that I could do it within a set time frame gave me this tangible goal, whereas I don't know that I would have written if it was just this like open-ended project.
Oh yeah, it's excruciating that way.
Yeah. So like, is it
writing a book?
But what I think might be different, like that I think you can tell me is like, not every piece of my book is my me being perfect.
Yeah.
There was a certain point where there were certain stories that I'm like, I forgot to add that, or like maybe I would have switched this a little bit, or like it would have been nice to. I collaborate a lot with like my fertility doctor wrote a story, and Eric wrote about being a caregiver.
So cool.
Andrew McMahon wrote the foreword, like all these things that I really enjoyed. But there was a certain point where I was like, because I kind of gave that year of my life, that I'm like, this is a project that's overlaying a lot of other projects. I was kind of like, it's done. Like it's done. And we did the final edit. Yeah, the final edit pass, and I'm reviewing it, and I'm about to read it again, like through another edit pass, and I was just like, you know what? It's finished. Like I had to let them know by Monday. We had like an event that weekend. I'm like, my book is done. Like it's, Wow. And so that's something though I wouldn't have for like anything. It just felt like I had already done like way more than I ever set out to.
Yes,
yeah,
totally.
But I can picture like when you tell me about your process and writing the book during dialysis, like there's that piece to me feels similar to my wegotthis.org.
Yes.
That is your...
Yes. And I also do have like Rare Disease Girl, which is my Substack. And
yes.
So that's sort of like I got impatient with the book because I realized like how long that gestation process truly is. And I was like, I just want to really just like get it, like tell my story or, out there. Yeah. Wrote that article for Huffington Post that did like, so like it, for anyone who hasn't read it, it was like #1 on Apple News for an entire day.
Yeah, and then like resurfaced again.
Oh,
not that long ago.
Well, it got picked up again.
Yeah.
And then so that was beyond my comprehension, and felt like it gave me this like confidence that I had something important to say that is truly resonant, no matter, even if you don't have a rare disease. Like I always say, we're all going to be a patient at some point. And we just don't know when. It's part of the human experience. And even though I have a very specific story, my message is really for everyone, especially about how to get the best care possible, how to advocate for themselves, and then how to handle life with a disease, which we have been, again, like trying how to survive but also thrive, as you say.
Yes, yeah.
And so that's a message that people can take on whatever journey they're on. And even Rare Disease Girl, I often say, like, one of my big themes is like, I want to help you save your own life, however that looks, from just like tangible like suggestions for getting good care to also just like how to deal with going to the doctor and being heard. Like there's a myriad of messages there. And so all this to say, check me out on Substack.
Yes.
Girl. But also, I do have another book I want to write, and
we got to get your book out
That's
there.
my other crazy idea, like to have one book that's not even out yet, and like already have another one that I want to write.
That's not that. See, like that doesn't sound crazy to me because I get it. Like after writing this, I can think of so many ideas now that like. I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool to just focus on this.
Yes.
Or other things that you're like, I didn't think this would be so interesting, but I actually would love to expand upon this idea.
Totally.
Especially you being a writer.
Yeah.
I also love how you said everyone. So in the beginning of We Got This, a lot of our copies said like, this is for anyone who is connected to cancer.
Yeah.
And my friend Matura, I don't know if I probably haven't really told you about him because it was way before we met. I got introduced through a friend of a friend of a friend. We became very close, and he helped out with all the branding for We Got This a lot throughout the first like year and a half. He ended up getting diagnosed with multiple myeloma like a year into us knowing each other.
Oh, wow.
So he did not have cancer before. It was really wild, and we did end up losing him, unfortunately. But
I'm so sorry.
No, thank you. He had such like a big presence and impact in so much of what we did. And the biggest thing that I always remember is we were using that for so long. And one day Matura said to me on a call, he was like, why are we saying anyone? It should be everyone, And like that big distinction I use a lot. Anytime I'm writing something, if I catch myself saying anyone, like, no, it's everyone. And so I love that you said that. It reminded me of it.
I think it's so true. And again, all of our stories are individual, but there are themes that are braided through all of them that we can all take away and help apply. I mean, a lot of the stuff we have to just learn the hard way. But I always say I want to be here for people on the day that life is unfair. And I know that life is incredibly unfair.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll also say that the world is full of support and love, and I just want to be that for people. So hopefully, when someone thinks like, oh, this terrible thing happened to my friend, let me send Taylor, or let me send them to Taylor stuff, or I just want to be a resource for folks because I know what that's like, but I also know there's more there. Like,
mm-hmm.
It doesn't end at this. And it also doesn't mean that the rest of life is unhappy or the rest of life is hard. Life is everything, all at once, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfair, it's wonderful, it's cruel, it's beautiful, it's poignant, it's sexy. Like, it's all of those things.
Totally.
And no matter where you are in the spectrum, we can tap into that and just remember, like, because I think, we all have that negativity bias. And I have it in spades where I just like see the negative so fast. It's like, I'm also creative, and so I really see it. Like,
mm-hmm.
I can really just carve out like how bad something could be. But then I have to I have to stop myself and go, you know what? This is so possible, but the other is just as possible. I'm just, a human being who we got to survive because of negativity bias. Like, we were able to be like, oh, that area is scary, so
I'm not gonna go
there. But now I'm not like running away from a bear so much. I'm just trying to carve my own path, and I need to be. That's a lesson that I have, to be kinder to myself, but also remind everyone else, like, learn from me, learn from my struggles.
Yeah.
I wish someone like me I could have found someone like me in my scariest moments. I wish, in those dark times, because I do think it helps to be able to see people, like if someone has a cancer diagnosis, to see you, to see me, like all of these things, it helps you reframe or redefine illness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's incredibly powerful. So
man, that whole last chunk, like if you just listen to that, I would like rewind and maybe just like listen to that again. I was like, whew. That was powerful. I love you. That was so amazing.
I love you too.
I want to make sure everyone knows where to find you.
Yes, please find me because apparently that really helps my book get published.
Yeah, you know, there's different things that you don't realize at different points, and
Yes.
depending on when we started, like, you know, I feel like I really understand Instagram, but like I don't get TikTok. But then it's like, oh, well, it depends on if this person cares about your TikTok following versus your Instagram.
It's so ridiculous. So anyways, find Taylor Coffman Made. That's Taylor like Taylor Swift. Kaufman like Dustin Hoffman with a C. Made. Taylor Coffman Made.
That was the most fun anyone has said their handles. But just putting that out there, I've never heard someone like explain it in such a great way. That was perfect. You cannot forget it.
Yes.
Yeah, read your Substack.
Thank
Substack.
you. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've been talking a lot.
Rare disease girl.
Yes, and then we just, you know, I want you to get your book out in the way that you want it to be out there, but I also want to make sure it gets out there like ASAP, because there are people that need it.
Well, hopefully our podcast will.
Yes, our podcast will be a good launch for that. Anyone watching who can take a read on Taylor's book, she has an agent, she has all the things together.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yes, so it'll be great, and then more to come with Dying to Live with Taylor and Elissa.
I'm so excited. This next year's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love it. Well, let's hug it out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
love
for
you.
coming. I love you too. Yeah. So yeah, we were dancing. You heard me. We were dancing. We were talking. Whatever we do, you know.
All right.
Maybe we can put some of our husband's music over.
Oh, I
this.
know, that would be cool. We both have musician. We all have musician husbands.
Oh yeah. I know. They should all have a band.
Yeah, we all picked the band guy.
Yeah.